Right, what's happening, people, and welcome back to the Joey Knight podcast. Now, before we get into the video, I want to start off once again by thanking all of you. I hit 40,000 subscribers the other day, and to say it's overwhelming is an understatement. I started this channel in late January. Only a couple of months ago, I think I had like 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers, and recently it's just massively snowballed. I'm loving all your comments, all your feedback. It's massively overwhelming. Now, if you are not subscribed, I had a look on the analytics page the other day, and I think only about 15% of the people that are watching my video are actually subscribed. So please do me a favor. If you enjoy the content, you want to see more from myself, I'm trying to bang out a video every single day at the moment. So if you like the content, hit the subscribe button and also click the bell so that you get a notification every time one of my videos goes live. Now, tomorrow we make the trip to the London Stadium to take on West Ham United in the second Premier League game of the season. And it's weird, isn't it? Because as the Liverpool game drew closer, I was actually getting more and more confident. But as this game draws closer, I wouldn't say I'm getting less confident, but what I am saying is I'm getting a bit more nervous rather than excited about the game. We have been massively spoiled over the last couple of decades as Chelsea fans, in that even when domestically we might not have been competing, we've still been picking up major silverware. And people will say to me, look at the likes of Arsenal and Man United and the fact that they had to go a lot longer than just one single season without success. But my God, am I hungry for us to do well this year. See, I've been smug all summer because while everyone else has been writing us off, I've been thinking, you lot don't know what I know, and that is that there is method behind the perceived madness of our owner, Todd Bowley, that we have got a top manager who's entering his managerial prime, and we're not a fallen giant. We're more so just a giant that tripped over and had a bad season. And that is why I'm so tentative about this game, because for me, people will call me mad, but this is a season-defining match in my opinion. And look, we look at the likes of Man United, yeah, they got off to a shocking start to last season, still managed a cup win and a third place finish. Newcastle were perceived as having an unreal season, and I believe they did. But when you look at Newcastle, a lot of people forget that last season they had one win in their first 8 games, and it even works the other way. Everyone was talking Leeds up after the start they had to last season and thought that they could go on to do big things after winning 2 of their opening 3 and battering Chelsea 3-0 at Ellen Road. But look what happened. They got relegated. So all that being said, it would make the viewers maybe lean towards the fact that this isn't the be-all and end-all, and this game doesn't define how our season goes. But for me, I do think it will. If we don't pick up 3 points against West Ham, it ain't the end of the world. But for our momentum, for our nerves as both a team and a fan base, and for the opportunity to send out a message to the rest of the teams in this league, this game is so important. And I'll be honest, the more I start to think about it, the more I realise that West Ham are a tough test. We often put a massive emphasis on incomings and transfers, but stability and having a close-knit group who have grown and experienced things together over a course of many seasons is massively underrated. And listen, the incomings ain't bad either. They've picked up a fringe international team player in James Ward-Prowse, who for my money has the best kick of a dead ball in world football, and also the acquisition of Edson Alvarez. That's a player that you lot will know that I went on record as saying I wouldn't mind Chelsea going in for. But let's be honest, James Ward-Prowse and Edson Alvarez ain't Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia. David Moyes ain't Pochettino, and West Ham are not Chelsea. And as much as we actually do have a pretty shit record away to West Ham, winning only 3 out of the last 10, I am backing us to get all 3 points in this match. I was shitting myself after 20 minutes against Liverpool. I was looking at the game and I was thinking, mate, we look tentative, we look out of our depth here, to be honest. But we ended up growing into that game and completely exploiting Liverpool's midfield. And do you know what? If it's good enough against Liverpool, it will definitely do the job against West Ham. So here is my team to go and hammer the hammers on Sunday. I'm going to go back to Pochettino's preferred 4-2-3-1 formation. I'm going to start obviously with Robert Sanchez in goal. Right back, listen, it's heartbreaking, man. We know the news about Reece James. We know that obviously he's going to be on the sidelines for a while now, and his injury problems seem to keep reoccurring. And as a Chelsea fan, one that was very, very happy and in favour of Reece James being given the captaincy, as I say, it's heartbreaking. But what I would say is, in Milo Gusto, we have a very good backup option, a player that I've been massively impressed by in pre-season. And before we move on from the Reece James thing, I'll just say one thing. I've had a lot of people in my comments put, messages in about Reece James and comments in and say, he just needs to stay fit. That logic is just stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's like me saying to a homeless fella, you just need more money, mate. Or a bloke that's gone bald, yeah, you shouldn't have let your hair recede, mate. Do you know what I mean? Reece James can't help it. He doesn't want to be injured, yeah? He's a good lad. So keep off his back. I'm going to go with a centre-back parent of Thiago Silva and Levi Colwell, and obviously Ben Chilwell at left-back. Now, you'll see that I've dropped Axel Disasi there, and a lot of people will be outraged by that, considering the performance he put in against Liverpool. But I'm just going to say to you, look, right, if we had a thin squad and we didn't have any backup options, everyone would be angry. If we've got a stacked squad with loads of backup options, but you drop one that is perceived to have had a good game, everyone again seems to be angry. But that is what we're dealing with now. We have got tremendous strength in depth. We have got players that can come in and do a job over players that might have done a good job in the match before. And for that reason, let's not go mad about the fact that I'm dropping Disasi here. He will feature a lot this season. He will get game time. But I just think for this match, I would go Silva and Colwill. And what I'd also touch on there is, remember at centre-back, we've got the likes of Silva, Colwill, Badiashile. We've got Chalobah still there. We've got Fofana coming back from injury. We've got massive, massive strength in depth. And after this season, we will be back in the Champions League. The games will be coming thick and fast, and there will be a lot more minutes to share out amongst all of these players. So, as much as it's easy to live in the short term and think, well, he should be getting minutes, it's going to come. Most of these players are on like 7-year contracts, you know what I mean? So, we're going to be all right. Now, obviously, Enzo Fernandez has got to start in the midfield too. He was massively impressive against Liverpool, and alongside him, I am going to give a debut to Moises Caicedo, who I think will complement Enzo's game perfectly, allowing him to have a lot more freedom, be a lot more creative, and go forward a little bit more than we had seen in times gone by. And as for Caicedo, I am as buzzing to see this boy as you all are. But I do realise that because of the transfer saga that's gone on and apparently a hamstring injury, which I'm not sure if it was a hamstring injury or whether he just didn't want to play, Caicedo hasn't played that many minutes in pre-season, and the same actually goes for new boy Romeo Lavia, who I think was registered before the deadline, meaning he's available. So, look, it's a hard one. The backups there are obviously Conor Gallagher and Andre Santos. If it was either of them, I would actually probably opt for Andre Santos to see a little bit more of him. But we've got to remember, this isn't a pre-season game, so we don't want to tinker and experiment too much. If it was a pre-season game, I'd be giving Moises Caicedo 45 minutes and I'd be giving Lavia 45 minutes. But because it's not that, I think that there's a good chance we might see either Conor Gallagher or Andre Santos paired with Enzo Fernandez from the first whistle, and then maybe the likes of Moises Caicedo or Lavia come on. But what do I know? Look, for my lineup, I am going to pick Caicedo, but I wouldn't be massively angered or against them picking Conor Gallagher or Santos, because the game that I think that we're going to see Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo and Lavia all in the lineup is against Luton at Stamford Bridge next Friday. And guess what? I'll be in attendance. So I'm very, very happy that we'll be seeing all three of them potentially in that game. Now, my front line is going to be Mudryk on the left. I want to see him start. I know he didn't against Liverpool. I thought he looked lively when he came on. And look, I don't want to go too much into price tags and fees put on players, but I do think if we're going to spend that sort of money on him, we've got to get him on. He looked impressive to an extent in pre-season, but I think this is the season, you know. His confidence is coming a lot more now. He struggled massively, didn't he, when coming to the Premier League? And you could see that in his performances. But I do think that if we're going to give Mudryk the opportunity to take this league by storm, we've got to be starting him, especially in matches like this where I can see his pace causing massive problems in behind. I am going to go Kane Chukwuemeka in the 10. I don't think we've got many other options, and I do rate Chukwuemeka quite highly. Ian Maatsen on the other hand side, and I understand that there's been transfer rumours about Ian Maatsen. I've actually covered that in another video that we'll be dropping on this channel on Sunday, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that one. But for this lineup, I'm starting Ian Maatsen. I massively rate him. Again, I think that his creativity will give West Ham massive problems, and also for West Ham, he's a bit of an unknown quantity because he wasn't even in this league last season, but we saw in pre-season exactly what this boy can do. And also his link-up play with a man I'm starting up top, Nicholas Jackson, has been shown in pre-season that it can be really, really good. And if they can translate what they did in America in pre-season to the Premier League, these two could have it off in this match. Nicholas Jackson, obviously, look, I'm hoping to see goals from him in this match. I thought he massively impressed me against Liverpool. He was the player on the pitch that made more runs in behind than any other man on that pitch that day. And it was always going to be a tough test. If you come up against Virgil van Dijk and Konate in your Premier League debut, you're never going to have too much luck. But his link-up play with the players around him, very unselfish for a number 9, which made me pose the question to Josh on the podcast last week. Is Nicholas Jackson more of an Olivier Giroud, or is he an out-and-out number 9 goal scorer? Well, this match will go a long way to helping us answer that question. So I want to see him start. I also want to see him get on the goal sheet. And yeah, we'll see how he does against West Ham. And it's worth touching upon as well that we haven't actually played with a target man like Nicholas Jackson in a good couple of seasons. And seeing as there's been upheaval in the squad as well, it's not even really relevant that we did play with one when we had Lukaku here for a while and whatnot, because hardly any of them players are still here. So will it take these lot a little while to adapt to the runs in behind and the directness that Nicholas Jackson needs in his service? I'm sure it will. But if we're going to play him, if we're going to utilise him in that way, we need to start doing it and start getting them used to it. And there's nothing to get you prepared like real life situations in games like this, such as this clash against West Ham. And West Ham have a solid defence. They are good at the back, but what team in the Premier League aren't? And if you can't score goals against this level of opposition, a team that, yeah, they won a European trophy last season, but they came 12th in the Premier League. If you can't get goals against them, when will you? So I do believe that we'll get goals. I think we'll win the game. I think that the scoreline maybe won't reflect the performance in terms of, it won't tell the story of how tight the match is going to be, but I am backing Chelsea to run out 3-0 winners in this match, in, as I say, a game that maybe is a little bit tighter than the scoreline suggests. I think Nicholas Jackson's getting on the goal sheet. But more importantly than what I think, I want to know, what do you lot think? I want score predictions in the comments below. And also, if you want to, lineup predictions. Because I know a lot of you would disagree with that lineup I've picked. It is a bit tweaked from the game before. But I think with the squad that we've got, and with Pochettino being a very tactical manager and treating each game as it comes rather than being very set on his tactics and formations, we might see a little bit of tinkering. And because of the class of Pochettino, it will probably go a little bit better than when we saw Lampard and Potter tinker last season. So yeah, I want to know your thoughts in the comments. Once again, thank you very, very much, because as I say, I'm massively overwhelmed by all the support I'm getting on this channel at the minute. I love it. It's a really, really good thing. So thank you very much. I am back in the studio on Monday morning with Josh. So what I will do is try and make sure that me and Josh have our review of this West Ham game out on Monday, sort of late afternoon, early evening. So if you're not subscribed already, subscribe so that you don't miss that video. And if you want to make sure you don't miss it, hit the bell so that you get a notification when that is uploaded. I will see you all in the next one. Done.